Okay, well, thank you, Craig. Thanks, everyone. It's great to join today's community call. And it's a great pleasure to present this study on behalf of the entire study team. I can take very little personal credit for this. And I'm pleased to be joined by Priscilla Normando from the Brazil team and Usman Afzal from the Pakistan team, who I'm sure will be very happy to discuss things over the chat. So by way of some background, of course, the pandemic seems like something that is from the long past, but not so long ago, we were in the thick of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many of us are, still reeling from it. The pandemic highlighted a pre-existing need for rapid, reliable, and representative evidence generation in an upshot. And the research community all over, really globally, rose to the occasion. And indeed, just within the Odyssey community, we saw several examples of the federated analytics approach turn data into policy, essentially. This was, of course, made possible by the efforts of the Odyssey COVID-19 network of data partners, also joined by Eden data partners. And while together, this was quite possibly one of the largest and the most well-established networks of its kind, we quickly sort of came to the realization that perhaps something could be done about the representativeness of the network, really, and the data it represented. So the idea here was pretty much just that, to onboard international data partners with a view to sort of complete the map, essentially, towards a journey of truly global knowledge mobilization and collaboration. And as a result, two data partners from Brazil and Pakistan, so Brazil in Latin America, Pakistan in South Asia, joined the Odyssey community and the journey in the middle of the pandemic. Very briefly, the Shaukat Khanum is the largest network of cancer hospitals in South Asia, with an electronic health record database of over 8 million records active since 1994, so going back over 30 years now. And during the pandemic, this database, this site became a regional COVID-19 hub, which meant that a lot of people from across the region were going to this hospital network for their care and testing. In the Bahia state of Brazil, across the other side of the world, the Brazilian Ministry of Health influenza surveillance system was adapted into the CDAC's Fiocruz COVID-19 data platform. This includes over 2 million self-reported COVID-19 case notifications. These are linked with hospitalizations, deaths, and vaccination data. And this is a slide I'm going to go very quickly over, because being in a room full of OMOP specialists, I'd like to say very little, except maybe as can be expected, the ETL processes and timelines for the two data partners were very bespoke, very customized, and I'm sure Usman and Priscilla can talk more to this, and maybe draw your attention to some of the numbers at the top right, which go to reflect the significant amount of mapping that has been done to date. And I would probably be right in saying that it's an ongoing process. So we as we speak, more and more data are being mapped. So somewhat inspired by Characterize, which many of us will be familiar with, and many of us were involved with, which was one of the largest sort of characterization studies, COVID-19 characterization studies of its kind. A baseline characterization of 5 COVID-19 cohorts was performed. Here we can see the distribution of cases over time, with less severe outcomes in 2022 than in the previous 2 years, and in both regions. In both countries, COVID-19 hospitalization, ICU admission, and death were more common in men, in the elderly, and those with comorbidities. This is again in agreement with international research, including COVID-19 network studies from Odyssey. And then in the general population that was tested, it was found the general population tested was found to be of similar ages in Brazil and Pakistan, but there were more women in the Brazilian tested population, whereas there were more men in the Pakistan population. And some of this has cultural nuances and goes to reflect the cultural contexts. In terms of ethnicity, just briefly drawing your attention to this, more than half of ethnicity breakup was found to be mixed in Brazil, which is something I didn't know about previously, but now I do. And interestingly, in the Pakistan data set, there was a small slice of Afghan ethnicity, so Afghanistan neighbors Pakistan. And just to say that this is a rare nugget in itself to find this ethnicity in original RWD data. So in short, and I'll try to be brief, stick to my 7 minutes, 2 health databases covering over 10 million individuals from South America and South Asia were analyzed. This was sort of a proof of concept study we undertook to demonstrate the potential for OMOP harmonized data from underrepresented regions in Odyssey for global knowledge mobilization and clinical translation for timely response both to pandemics and hopefully beyond. What's coming up next? So planned work includes both COVID-19 and beyond with cross-cutting areas in artificial intelligence. Overall, there's an agreement to move towards a data science ecosystem approach, participation in some naturally occurring kind of alliances with Odyssey work groups is listed here, like the oncology work group, the GIS work group, the equity work group, and more wider collaboration is very welcome. The paper has just been published, and a second round of funding has been secured through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and we're in discussion with potential future partners, not just from South Asia and South America, but also from Africa to come on board and join the journey essentially. So with that, I'd just like to acknowledge everybody who's supported this work, everybody in the Odyssey community, Claire Blackheater is on the call. Thank you, Claire, for your very early conversations, and everybody else for listening. Thank you very much.